from the Preston Highway Studios, it's 24-hour Purple People. And now here's your host, John Harper.
Well, hello, and welcome to 24-hour Purple People. My name is John Harper, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you along for the ride today. It's so bright in here. Let's turn that off. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever... What am I getting here? Messages. Welcome to the first ever non-live edition, but as you can tell, we're already off to a roaring start. I am absolutely thrilled to have you today as we are all set to talk about the week that was purple. A lot to talk about in the USL and the NWSL Challenge Cup as racing returned to Lynn Family Stadium for a game against the Chicago Red Stars. Gentlemen, I hope you are ready to talk some soccer. One man that is always ready to talk some soccer is Mr. Glenn Grum. Glenn, say hello to the folks at home.
Hi, folks at home. Wait, was I supposed to say other stuff too? Oh, I'm supposed to keep talking, right? Until my little thing goes away at the bottom. Thanks for having me back. Oh, man, that lasted a really long time. You should probably talk to Matt. He's way more interesting than me.
Oh, right. Well, and my second panelist is known throughout the world as Matt Dalton. Matt, say hello to the folks at home, if you will, please.
Hey guys. Have you ever heard this one? You ever heard the Hoppy Easter? Huh? Because of the bunny? Hop? Because he...
Oh, wow.
Because he... We can edit this out, right? This is because we're not... we can cut this out, right, John?
Cut it all out.
Yeah, just cut the whole thing out.
I'm going to let you guys keep talking for a second if you don't.
Well, I can... We're not even live, and I can hear the viewers tuning out.
Right.
Here we are.
They're all
reaching into
they're
the
not
future.
smashing the like button, that's for sure.
I sadly couldn't hear you guys for a second. Should we redo the intros? No, we shouldn't. Probably not. Right?
Oh no, absolutely not.
No,
We're in the
leave
can
this
now,
absolute
baby.
garbage. This is Monday Night Ball.
I wouldn't. Yeah, Monday Night Balls. I wouldn't go that far. Okay, now I can hear you guys. That was really weird. The light's back on again. I'm gonna turn it off. Hey.
Do you want to restart?
You gotta make it more romantic.
I mean, we can. It's not live. We could restart, but we're not going to. This is way more fun, right?
I'm still doing that Hoppy Easter joke too. I had that whole thing planned out.
Well, I'm sure it was a great opening to the show. I am glad to have you here. If you're a first-time viewer of 24-Hour Purple People, my panelists sometimes will get a little bit out of line, and when they do, they might receive a yellow card. If they get 2 yellow cards, if they pull a Tosh, they will receive a red card, and they will be muted for 60 seconds, and they won't be able to say anything during that time period of being muted. The other panelists can do what they want. They can sing a song, say their favorite poem, or whatever's on their mind, as long as it's okay by me, or they'll be red carded too. I know it's just really not fair, is it? It's really not fair
at all.
So
Not at
as
all. No fair.
gentlemen, just last night, if you're watching this on Monday night, which you should be, unless I screwed up the unlisted part of this video, Saturday night at Lynn Family Stadium, we welcome back the Red Stars once again. This rivalry kind of starting with the Red Stars between these teams. A lot riding on this game as we kind of as the time went throughout this evening, we saw some other games in the NWSL Challenge Cup. Gentlemen, do we have a final yet out west? I know we were kind of waiting to see what happened with the Thorns. They did have a 3-2 lead in the 90th minute.
Over the wave.
Over the wave. Yes.
3-2 is the final.
3-2 is the final. So unfortunately, we'll talk about this in the second half a little bit, but that's going to leave racing out of the semifinal.
You're jumping to the next topic already.
Yeah, well, we're not.
He said we're off to a roaring start.
We are off to a roaring start.
Yeah.
We'll go over that momentarily. But let's talk about this match because, I mean, it was a highly contested match. Glenn, I know you were there for most of the game, still not feeling 100% yourself, and we hope you do get to that 100% very soon. But what'd you see out there from racing on Saturday night?
I thought we played a pretty good game, actually. We did the one thing we probably shouldn't have. We let Mallory Pugh dribble into the box with that ball, and that definitely killed us there. But other than that, we made up for it. We played fairly well. Felt like Chicago tried to keep us out on the wings and keep us from getting the ball to McDonald. The only time, really, like when I rewatched the broadcast, the only time I heard the announcers call her name was for offsides, basically. So it was not they try to take away our main weapon, right, and make us try other ways to attack. And we certainly did try, and we crossed the ball very well and kept attacking and kept with it, and eventually equalized with probably one of the greatest goals I think I've seen in a long time. Man, Ekic couldn't have placed that ball any better when she kicked that free kick in the what was that, like the 72nd minute, I believe.
Yeah.
76th. So yeah, that was like a beautiful free kick. But we were still pressed even after the free kick went in. We continued to press. We continued to play our style of soccer, which I think Coach Bjorkgren actually has a really good plan. It feels like he figures out what the other team is trying to do and tries to counteract that. Now, Pugh did go out in around the 68th minute for a concussion protocol. So that kind of changed the complexion of the game, I think, because there wasn't as much of an attacking threat from Chicago. Even though they did have a couple more chances, it wasn't as strong. And you didn't have to be aware of where Mal Pugh was on the pitch. So
Yeah,
I thought it was a decent match. And I feel like we're growing into a decent team. And I feel like Coach has got a good system in place, and we're doing well. And I feel like a draw is a good result against a good team, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Send it, man.
Absolutely. That free kick that found Mallory Pugh right actually, it kind of deflected off of her chest and went right up into her grill.
Her nose.
And wow,
Yeah,
she dropped like a sack of potatoes. Pretty scary moment for Red Stars and just soccer fans in general. You don't want to see a star like that go out. So she took a second and looked very, very out of it heading off the pitch. So we hope that she's okay.
Absolutely.
Matt, this is a team that we played not too long ago. It kind of started a good, solid run for racing. They do still look like a team that has turned the page, have they not?
Absolutely. And this is a team we're going to see again April 30th to kick off the season proper. So I thought Chicago had some really good team defending, and then, as Glenn stated, great individual efforts from Mal Pugh. It's a luxury to be able to essentially just pass it off to your world-class forward and just kind of watch her go to work. I think that we really came on in the second half and really got a lot of momentum. In addition to Pugh going off in the 60th, we had DeMello, Salmon, and Ekic on, which I think really changed the game a little bit for us in the late stages. We actually ended up out shooting the Red Stars 13-9, all said and done. And I don't want to overcomplicate this, but I mean, Ekic's goal. I mean, what a banger, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That shot that she had, that free kick, is something that she's actually practices that exact setup from a free kick.
It shows.
Absolutely. From outside the box. And I don't know if you guys saw, but Racing actually tweeted basically a mirror image of her doing that at the University of Louisville.
Nice.
It was great for the hometown hero to get that goal. As far as our passing, I thought, and this is something that we've talked about a lot, was Racing's overall pass accuracy. Glenn, when you saw a lot of these connections via the pass, Racing seemed to be playing well in that aspect. Lots of great crosses and lots of great opportunities, just couldn't put it in the back of the net.
How about 33 crosses on the night? That's pretty awesome, right? But I think that's what Chicago was trying. They were trying to play us outside and make us cross it in and keep us on the wings. We also ended up with 7 corners to 3 for the Red Stars. So they definitely were keeping us on the outside, trying to make us cross the ball in. We made some good connections. There were a lot of times where the ball would fall to people's feet, and we just couldn't get that final touch on it because the box was just so congested. There were at least 3 or 4 Red Star players in the box, it seemed like, at all times. And it just created congestion. It was hard to get that ball into the net. But I mean, we're getting there. I feel like, and I feel like the connections between the players are getting a little bit better. I feel like Fox played an amazing game. Probably one of the players of the match. I mean, Ekich obviously with that goal has to be the player of the match, right? I mean, you score a goal
Gotta
like
reward
that,
that, right?
yeah, right. You got to vote for that person for player of the match for sure. But we're definitely getting the passing accuracy was up to 78%. We're getting better. Playing better as a team. I was kind of surprised to see Salmon came in. Her leg was wrapped up pretty good at the top end of her leg there, just above her knee to her shorts. She was wrapped, and it looked like maybe she had one of those what is it, like a TENS device or one of those like muscle simulators. So I was surprised to see her on the pitch. She looked a little bit slower, I think. But I think that she definitely wanted to be out there and help her team, and she absolutely adds an attacking threat. And her, DeMillo, and Ekich, I think, changed the complexion of the game for us and added a more attacking-minded team. So,
yeah, Matt, when we look at racing, a lot of confidence boosting as of late, you would think, from this team.
Absolutely.
What else did you see out there that you liked from racing? I thought Katie had a great game between the in front of the net, between the sticks, whatever you want to say. I thought she had a great game.
Absolutely, yeah. She had some key saves to keep us in it, and she even got a mitt on the ball that did go in that Pew crossed over into the box. I just want to highlight that Ekich was scored our 7th goal in the Challenge Cup, and she was also our 7th different goal scorer. So we're spreading it around, and that's good to see. We're not having to rely on one person to really keep us in games. We don't have that one go-to. That'll develop over time, right? Throughout the course of the season, we are going to start relying more heavily on maybe 1 or 2 people to score, but it's good to know that we have these weapons that we can use until that does develop.
Glenn, I'll wrap this up with you. You kind of talked offline about the Red Stars shutting down Jess McDonald. How were they able to do that Saturday night at Lynn Family Stadium?
I felt like they played a really tight line and they played up a little bit, so they made it difficult for that pass just to make it so you could get her. They played a tight line defensively, so she was constantly offside. They played up a little bit and just made it difficult for us to make that last connection. I felt like they also it seemed like there was always defenders around her wherever she went. Like it seemed like almost like a man marking or a zonal defense. Whenever she came into your zone, someone was following her around, almost felt like. But it just seemed like they had an answer for her. But I felt like we still did a really good job attacking. We figured out how to get the ball into the box, and we're still crossing the ball in and just couldn't find that final touch. But I feel like we've shown a marked improvement. So I'm happy to see what we have coming forward. What is it, next Saturday or Sunday in Houston? So I think that's a winnable game for us, and it should be pretty exciting. Plus, we need a little bit of vengeance right after the match we had here in Lynn Family Stadium. So.
Yep. Chicago is a quality team, and obviously they scouted us well, knew that we were going to be utilizing Jess McDonald, obviously, and I think racing just has to find ways to score when teams try to put the emphasis on the defense with Jess McDonald and find different ways to score. And last night we did find a way to pull out the draw against the Red Stars. Now, speaking of the Challenge Cup, the Challenge Cup rolls on, this preseason tournament of sorts. Our next topic here, Cup date. So as you look at the Challenge Cup, Glenn, the standings have changed a little bit today. Some pretty highly contested matchups on Sunday. What do you see out there? Lots of little shaking up and people taking a back seat as well, right?
Well, it's going to be difficult to see who comes out on top, right? Because your top 2 teams in all 3 groups are going to play next week. So you're going to have Washington play North Carolina for that group. Basically, the winner is going to take that group. And then you're going to have, in the West, Reign is going to play Portland Thorns for the group who wins that group out there. And then you're also going to have Kansas City play the Red Stars to see who win our group. Unfortunately, with today's result, with Portland sitting on 10 points, and the Washington Spirit on 9, it's going to be very difficult for us to get into the tournament. Even with the win on Sunday, we'd be on 9 points, and if Washington were to lose, but our goal differential would not get us into the best second place team. So we wouldn't have enough points to move on. Unfortunately, it looks like.
Matt, when you hear that news, literally 5 seconds ago from Glenn, where does that take racing at this point? It's got to be a blow, but you still got to find ways to make these games mean something to the team, right?
Yeah, so it looks like if we recorded this just a little bit earlier, we could have stretched the segment out much longer. So way to go, guys. I do think I had some pretty low expectations, to be honest with you, after our finish last year. But I can honestly say racing's performance has exceeded my even low expectations. We're much improved over where we were last year. 1 or 2 more results. That's really all we needed. Finish with a loss, a win, and 3 draws. Like 1 or 2 more results, and we're right up there in the mix with the top of this table. So I do think it's important to end with some momentum for sure. You're not thinking about mentality. You're not necessarily playing for points. You're thinking about the psyche of the locker room, right? You've seen your team get these 3 draws. What do we need to do to get over the top and start getting these wins over these quality clubs?
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right on that. You have to find, and good teams do this, and good coaches do this. I believe Coach Kim is a good coach, and his first go around, his first year with racing, entering this Challenge Cup, and we saw that the team did develop week by week, got better as the weeks went on, and that he's going to find a spark for racing to drive them in Houston against the Dash. So I am looking forward to seeing how this all plays out, and hopefully it leads to a very positive start to the beginning of the season. A wild match today. I watched the Los Angeles versus Seattle, a pretty crazy match up in Seattle, playing at the Sounders Stadium. I'm not really sure. We're going to call it Sounders Stadium. Glenn, are you enjoying the Challenge Cup? Just kind of a off-topic, on-topic question. How are you enjoying this Challenge Cup? Do you think the Challenge Cup returns in 2023?
I think it's a fun way to watch matches. And I mean, it's preseason tournament, I guess, what they're calling it. So, I mean, you're going to need preseason matches, right? So you're going to need warm-ups to get ready for the season. So I think that they would most likely bring it back to continue using it as that preseason warm-up. I think it's been really fun to watch. It's been fun to watch, especially watch racing kind of develop and watch them grow as a team and kind of gel together. Like, it feels like every performance has gotten a little bit better, and they've all been a little bit different, right? Like, we had the first draw that kind of, like, after that loss at home to Houston, we had the draw in Chicago, which felt like it was a kind of change for the team. And then you had that basically decimation of the first place team in our division, a 3-0 win at Kansas City, and then the 1-1 draw against Chicago, who, again, is close to the top of the table as well in our division. So it's good to see us competing well against these quality sides, and it's going to be fun to see what we do on Sunday and see if maybe can't steal that 3 points back that we should have taken, in the first match. And that, ball bounces 1 or 2 different ways for us, and we're near the top of the table, right? I mean, we had 2 goals. We were up 2-0 in that Houston Dash match at home, and a couple of good bounces for us, and maybe we're having a different discussion. We're talking about possibly being in first place at this point. So,
yeah, absolutely. Matt, I'll kind of ask you the same question. What do you think of this Challenge Cup? Is it something you're enjoying watching? I guess it does make sense for the league with the small amount of teams at this point, right?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for any kind of tournament. I love them. I like groupings. I like knockout rounds, just whatever. I'm a sucker for tournaments, so I would love to see them bring this back. It is. I think it's a lot more exciting than just normal preseason matches.
At least you get to watch them, right?
Matches, yeah, it makes them mean something, right? You're actually they count, but they don't count, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. Go ahead, Glenn.
And it'd be nice maybe that the league added, like, we've discussed in the past, adding an incentive to this. Maybe make it so it's a play.
Absolutely.
The tournament gets a playoff spot, so you have a guaranteed playoff spot, for winning the tournament, or some bigger incentive than maybe $500,000 to spread amongst the team.
Yeah,
Which is a pretty good incentive, all things considered.
Yeah.
it's
I
not
mean,
bad.
but
It's not bad.
But would you rather be in the playoffs, or would you rather have 500,000?
No, I'd rather have that $500,000, Glenn. That's just me
Okay.
personally.
Well, you know,
The playoffs sound exhausting to me. I don't like to run, so I'll take that money.
right? Yeah, the
We got to run to get the money, though. Like, the money is
Oh
like
God, I'm never gonna get this money.
the well, to quote a famous coach, I believe Herman Edwards, you play to win the game. So racing, continuing
Wow.
on this Challenge Cup, they're going to be playing to win the game, right? So we're going to continue supporting them every step of the way, as we would regardless of the situation. And we're very proud of our team here in Louisville, and hope the best outcome possible. And maybe, if nothing else, this Challenge Cup, the continuation of the Challenge Cup for racing, will be what they need to get gelled and get ready for the actual season coming up for the NWSL.
Future's looking bright, baby.
It's looking bright. So now, moving on to Louisville City FC and the Wild Wild West. No, it's not a Will Smith movie that bombed. Smack. It is a no. It is a game Saturday night, a late night start on the West Coast, 10 p.m. here in Louisville, as the San Diego commentators like to call us. Wow. What a match. What a match. Everybody really enjoyed watching it. Obviously, a little crazy, Matt, this match against San Diego Loyal.
Little?
Just a little.
Little?
So,
By the way, I always think of Kool Moe Dee with the Wild Wild West, in case you're wondering. I just want to make sure I threw that out there.
Okay.
Shut up, old man.
Gotcha. So, a lot to talk about in this one. Matt, I want to start with some of the disciplinary aspects of this game. 16 fouls committed by San Diego. Louisville City, not too far away from that stat as well. Boy, the whistle just kept blowing, did it not?
Oh yeah, and look, there's no better holiday than Easter to talk about how thankful you are. And I, for one, am just beyond thankful for that bonkers ass match that we got to bear witness to last night. It had absolutely everything that you could want out of a game of football, especially one between the top teams in the league and a prospective finals preview. Supremely entertaining from start to finish, a real showcase for the USL, a showcase showdown, if you will. In terms of booking, wow. So I guess the refs also wanted to get in on the action, right? They saw what was happening. They saw how excited everyone was. They saw the crowd,
the ratings,
and they really wanted to get in on it too. So there was a lot of rifling for cards and pockets. It took up a noticeable chunk of the broadcast.
Absolutely,
especially for Sean Tosh. Unfortunately,
Glenn. Talking about Sean Tosh, Glenn, that foul committed was the second yellow for Sean. What'd you see out there from him? A lot of people critical of Sean Tosh's play on Saturday. Just a somewhat careless foul by one of a fan favorite defender. What'd you see, Glenn?
Can I defend a defender here for a second?
You can defend a defender. Go ahead.
The first foul that led to the first penalty kick against Among is already kind of going over and just makes the contact with Toach. Mm-hmm. So it looks worse than it was, right? That was a fairly soft foul, but it occurred in the box, so he got that first yellow card. The second foul was a little undisciplined, but he had been beaten by Vassell for that first goal, right? Or that second goal. So I felt like he was trying not to let Vassell get away from him. And so just grabbed a hold of him and hoping he wasn't going to get caught. And I mean,
but you have to know that you're on a card when you do that, correct? I mean, you have to be aware that you've already been booked when you make a professional foul like that, right? A clear and obvious one, in my estimation. You could get beat again, but you could also leave your men. You could also leave your team a man down, which is what happened.
But at that point, the match is 3-2, right? Like he's trying to keep us in the game, keep us ahead, and he did that, right? He prevented a breakaway. I mean, there's basically nobody behind. I think maybe Perez was on the wing there with another loyal player, but there was nobody else behind the ball. So it was pretty much Toch was going to save the day there if he could let him get away, or was going to have to try and come from behind to save the day, and that didn't work out well last time with Among. So I felt like he just didn't want to let him get away, and he committed the foul, and it happens sometimes. I agree. Not the best, but later on the other team gets a red card for us too and takes care of all that. I mean, we didn't discuss how this game had 1 red card for each team and then 3 penalty kicks.
Yep.
Like there were 7 goals in this match. Why are we talking about cards at all?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, because we cover each topic. Don't question my authority. Wait a minute. Why did that not make noise? Now you're getting an even longer red.
Oh, he's getting a longer red.
There it is. Thank you. I'm going to wrap up the Sean Toch portion of this by saying that he did kind of own up a little bit to his mistake. He says on Twitter, quote, "Have your brothers back," end quote. Those are words this team lives by. I'm extremely grateful to be part of this group. My hand is up on mistakes that were made. Not my best, but this group will continue to fight and win. And, that's saying a lot right there.
Matt just fell asleep.
That he kind of, owned up to it a bit. And look, the outcome was a great outcome, which we're going to get to. Have patience, guys. We got time. We're not just going to talk about the red cards. Everybody just relax, especially Matt. You relax over there, Matt. Glenn, we'll get out of the red card topic. So, Glenn, just you do go down a man when Sean Toch exits the game, and just like in Birmingham, but this time against the best team in the Western Conference, Louisville City held their ground. What'd you see out there in those crucial minutes?
Brian Ownby is a god amongst men. I think that Toch probably has to buy his lunch all week this week, right? Like, because he definitely he was like,
I want to buy his lunch.
I got this, and he was just impossible to stop. He was attacking consistently. He just kept the ball going forward. It felt like he was a man possessed. There was nothing they could do to stop him. At the end there, that last goal he scores, the keeper tries to foul him to take him down. He shakes off the keeper, who's got him in a bear hug almost, and kicks the ball into the net. And he draws the penalty for the second penalty there. I mean,
that was impressive.
That man is amazing. I don't know.
A lot of players make great runs, but Ownby runs like he's being chased. It is amazing.
Right?
Yeah, no, I think...
Is there a grizzly bear he sees that we can't see? Is there something chasing him that we can't? It feels like there's got to be something out there, right? Maybe some kind of hyena or some kind of large cat, maybe a tiger.
Just keep running, Brian. Just keep running because it'll catch you. If you don't score those goals, it'll catch you.
Brian Ownby, the play the run that he made to draw that foul in the box was absolutely awesome. He kind of, shot the ball out, ran after it, and he's got 3 defenders coming after him in that play. A really, really silly foul made by San Diego there. If you're going to challenge somebody in the box and you're not really overly concerned about possibly getting a penalty, why not still slide for the ball or make it where it could have gone both ways? He just shoves them.
Right? He does one hand, too. He doesn't even try for the ball. He just pushes him, Stoneman pushes him from behind with one hand. Right. Puts a hand on his back and just pushes him down. He doesn't even attempt to make it look like. At least Toch kind of stumbled towards the ball after he took down Among or supposedly took down Among. But
the beard bomb went flying off. I mean, it was. That was a pretty tough little shot.
Glistening.
Yeah, he was glistening, and he's continuing to glisten. Brian Ownby, just man of the match. I don't know if you noticed. So the vote went up. We talked a little bit about this. The man of the match vote went up, and they actually disregarded the vote and was like, "Man, it's Brian Ownby." So I thought that was pretty cool.
You got to make an executive decision there. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool about Louisville City.
I mean, how is he not he has to be the man? I mean, right? Who else? I mean, you can make a case, I guess, for Perez, who had a really great game again.
Sharpie had a great game too.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. He
I
was
mean, Morton
on
always
point.
even though 2 goals went in, Morton had a decent game. He guessed the right way on that penalty, just couldn't get there quick enough.
Yeah, he had
That
some.
they had San Diego.
He's put in a bad position there. It's not entirely his fault there. And then the chip shot from Vassell. I mean, that's just a banger, man. I mean, there's really nothing you can do about that either.
Yeah,
had a
that's just a
perfect
great goal.
curl on it too. Like he got
Oh,
around the
yeah.
post and kind of kicked that and fell, and it curled that ball right around like Morton. There's nothing he could do.
Morton had some great saves in the final minutes of that game as well. One that just was a split second. If you blinked, you would have missed it. Came flying right off his chest there at the end from a very up close shot. That was a very difficult save to make. Go back and watch that the last 15 minutes. For nothing else, to see Brian Ownby putting it in with when the goalie came out, that was just fantastic, and it was great to see Louisville City.
Is that an assist for Morton?
It is. It is counted
yes.
as an assist.
On that
That
last
Nikola
goal?
Jokic outlet pass. I mean, what a thing of beauty.
Yeah, that was
The
awesome.
defender
So
gave
much
up
trouble.
on it too, right? The defender gave up on the ball and
Yeah.
kept running. Like their defender was just like, "Oh, the keeper's gonna get it," and just stops. Omi's like, "The ball's still going. I'm gonna."
And I
go.
get it, man. Because what was that? The 88th minute. I mean, you're late in the game.
Yeah.
You lose just a little
No,
bit
that
of
was-
concentration, even that late in the game. And Brian Ownby's going to strike like a cobra.
Mhm.
I had
like
so
90
much
plus
trouble
4.
picking
Yeah,
my
I was about to say,
favorite
it was-
player on this squad because so many of these guys are just so damn good. Like I love this squad so much. I get giddy when I talk about them.
Wait,
Yeah,
can we not?
Go ahead.
We have to talk about Niall when he scores the PK and he calls the entire team over to celebrate. He gets everyone to run from all over the field to one spot to try and kill some time to celebrate. He kicks that in and he like calls the entire team over to come celebrate in that
love
corner
him.
just to waste a little bit of time. Like that is a great veteran move, right?
That's
Try
yes,
and, like,
exactly. A
kill,
veteran move.
drain the air out of the
Crafty
game.
veteran.
Like, oh.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the Clash of the Titans this weekend was over. The ratings were through the roof. The refs just ate it up, and it was a great match. I enjoyed. It was kind of funny on a personal note. We got back from Elton John kind of late. It was about the 50th something minute. Katie is very superstitious about watching games on TV. She just does not like watching games on TV. And so she goes to bed. I'm sitting there with my father-in-law. He's getting tired. He's like, well, I'm going to bed. So everybody goes to bed. Sean Tosh had just got the red card. So Katie was like, I'm really going to bed. So, and then like, we draw the foul. We hit the PK. I'm like running around yelling silently. So I'm like, yeah, going crazy. So that was fun though. It was great to see. And it just really, it was a very big win, statement win, beating the best team in the West. Still early in the season, and the table could absolutely change quite a bit. But for now, the table sees Louisville City at the top of the East and the top of the league
and still undefeated.
The only team without any losses. The best start in the history of the club when it comes to the no loss part. Just fantastic start. Matt, when you look at this table so far, obviously Louisville City right where we want them to be. But when you look down the table, do you see any surprises in that table? Let's just say in the East, who do you see in the East right now that you are kind of surprised about?
So if you go from the top down, I don't know the exact order, but you see some of the teams that I thought would be contenders, right? You've got Pittsburgh, you've got Tampa. The first sort of surprise for me is Detroit City.
Mm-hmm.
They were sort of a wild card coming into this year, and we didn't know how smooth the transition from NISA to the USL was going to be. But they're sitting in fourth with 11 points in 6 matches. They're doing pretty well. So they're our final game of the season, and one I'm looking forward to quite a bit because that could be a big decider on a lot of things.
Glenn, do you agree on Detroit, or do you see somebody else in the East anyway?
I think that's the first surprise I see as well, right? And their leading goal scorer is Antoine Hopino. So
never heard of him.
I don't know if you guys.
Ooh,
I know, right? Antoine.
Here's
Hopino.
a yellow.
He's this guy who used to play in Louisville. He's pretty good. He scored one really amazing goal one time, I think.
I know, I'm
it's
kidding.
Dissension. He keeps talking, man.
Okay, Glenn, right back at you here. Who else in the league? Looking out west, do you see any surprises out there?
How about the 11th place Orange County SC? That kind of is a shocker in the beginning of the season. I mean, the team that won the championship, they've scored 5, conceded 6 goals in the 5 matches they've played. Granted, I mean it's early in the season, so there's time to build back. But I mean, this is a team that last year finished with 52 points, so it's definitely something that's kind of surprising to me. And then I have one more in the West. I thought the 4th place Las Vegas Lights.
Yeah,
Kind of a
there you
shock,
go.
right? Their team that everybody kind of plays off as almost like a joke, right? Like, because they have that like crazy gimmick stuff go on. They throw money out of a helicopter. They have like a Elvis looking, looks kind of like a Bruce Campbell Elvis driving on a motorcycle. Like they have all these gimmicky things happen.
They had
but
dog
they have,
races on Saturday. Dog races at halftime, by the way.
But
Poop on the
they have,
pitch,
like,
they
the
called
league's
it.
leading scorer, right? Like the league's leading scorer is there, and they're playing pretty decent, 4-3 on 12 points, and they only had 21 points all last season, so they're definitely much improved and someone to look out for.
Vegas is like one of my guilty pleasure teams to watch. Like I love kind of coming home after a City game late at night and then putting on the Vegas Lights game. I don't know why. It's just they're always bonkers. They're always entertaining. Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Well, I was gonna say I like doing the same thing. I'll actually do that, and I play a slot machine app on my phone at the same time. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say another surprise for me in the East is Memphis. They had a good bit of turnover last year, most notably they lost Kyle Murphy. But their position can be a little bit deceiving as their 2 wins come from teams out west. They didn't fare as well facing East contenders. They lost to Pitt 3-0, and they drew with Detroit City 1-1.
Yeah, Memphis had a huge win on Saturday at Colorado Springs, so that's a team to look out for in the East. Do not sleep on Memphis. If you're curious about the table, you can get it a million different ways online, or you can just watch the purple feed across the bottom of the screen if I remember to turn it on. We do have the table, top 10. Yeah, there you go, Matt. The top 10 teams of the East and the West in the USL. And, the East, quite a bit of shakeup in the East as of late. But the West kind of staying about the same over the last week. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out. And I'm very excited for that. I'm also excited for halftime as we are heading to the half of this episode. We will return with upcoming purple everything. Stick around, you won't want to miss it. For now, it's halftime hug time. Halftime hug time.
I'm Glenn Grum, and you are listening to 24-Hour Purple People. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hang on a second, Beardo. You're not going to walk out of the house looking like that, are you?
What am I supposed to do?
Introducing Ownby Brand Beard Balm. One dollop of our made-in-the-USA scruff gravy can transform your hell-no tea into a go-go-go tea in seconds. Made from our proprietary blend of 11 herbs, spices, pulps, mashes, animal tallows, stamens, tree milks, shells, and a hint of apple cores for a pleasing and saucy aroma, Ownby Brand Beard Balm will have your stubble in playoff form all year round.
From the hills of fair Virginia to the wings of B-Town's pitch, reach for Ownby Brand Beard Balm.
Ownby Brand Beard Balm.
When your whiskers start to itch.
Available wherever fine made-up products are sold. Not endorsed by any soccer players, real or fictional, so please don't tell him.
Welcome back to the second half of Monday Night Baws. I'm John Harper, and I'm so glad you came to the show tonight. We're excited for this second half. As you saw, Ownby Brand Beard Balm. If you are a fake business and you're interested in sponsoring 24-Hour Purple People, please shoot us a message on Twitter, our Gmail account, whatever. We will get you booked with our show. We sell ads for as low as a penny an ad. That's pretty crazy. I know it's really
How do we keep the lights on?
well.
Right?
As you can tell, the lights are off at my house anyway. So
That makes sense.
Candles. He uses candles.
Second half action.
You got candle money?
Yeah, I do have candle money. So we discussed a little bit of this in the first half as Racing kind of eliminated from the actual postseason of the preseason, if that makes sense. but we are heading to Houston to play the Dash. Glenn, you look at this Dash team, solid team, maybe an underrated team. What do you think?
I think that they have one win, and they beat us at home. So I think that maybe there's some payback coming. That was the game where we were up 2-0, and we conceded 3 goals. By the way, they've only scored 5 in total all of the cup. So I feel like we can play well against them, and I think we've got that momentum going. I think we've got our best 11 picked out. I think coach has done a really good job. Be interesting to see who starts, because I felt like our attacking team at the end of the Chicago match played very well together, and with some of the substitutions on the attacking side of the ball. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe he doesn't start out on that attacking foot on the road, to see if we can't get an early lead again, and see if we can't hold on to it this time, and maybe switch to a more defensive-minded plan. I know, I believe Olafson is going to be out for accumulation. I think she got her second yellow last night, and I believe it's only 2 yellows and you get a suspension for 1 match. So we may have to make some changes in the midfield anyway. But they're definitely a team that you can't overlook, but I think that they're a team that we can beat if we continue to play how we've been playing. So,
yeah, last time we met with the Dash at Lynn Family Stadium anyway, left a pretty sour taste in our mouth. Matt, when you look at this Dash team, a team that obviously has some very talented players on it, what do you see happening with this game?
So yeah, the sort of debacle, that second half breakdown, is probably, it's definitely the worst thing to happen in the Challenge Cup for us. I think if you take that piece away, we've played very well throughout the entirety of the Challenge Cup. I want payback. I want what Glenn said. I want to pound this team into the dirt, right? I want to go on their home field and I want to embarrass them. And I think that will do wonders for the psyche of this team, for the mentality of this team. Which is what you're playing for now, right? You're not playing for points anymore. Nothing you can do to move up or down. You're just playing for pride. And I think we can take this team down. I think we can win. I do wonder if we experiment some with the lineup, like Glenn said. There are some things that we can do. This is our last sort of go round with actual opponents until the 30th of April. So it's going to be an interesting game for sure. Though there's nothing to play for, there's a lot of reasons to want to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you take what we kind of talked about this in the first half, but you find that spark, you find that reason, and the reason is you have to prove something and get a good positive momentum going into the actual NWSL season. And I'm thinking the future's bright for Racing. Obviously, they have a long season ahead, but I feel like even though this elimination from the postseason of the preseason, they have a lot to look forward to come the regular season. If this couldn't be any more confusing, yeah. Okay, so moving right along, not our lose. So Wednesday evening, take a little trip to Lynn Family Stadium on 424, St. Louis City FC2 Hackworth Edition, whatever the hell they are. Yeah, SC. Okay, so the Not So Kingy Cup coming to Lynn Family Stadium, this Open Cup round 3, a team that we are somewhat familiar with in more ways than one. Are we not, Glenn?
Yeah. Their leading scorer is Akil Watts, right, in the regular season for the MLS NXT, which is very difficult to find statistics for unless you go directly to their site. It's St. Louis City SC2, by the way. So you forgot to add city in there. St. Louis City SC2.
St. Louis United City FC2.
They got all the names. Hey, they're
Rovers,
coached by this guy named
Wanderers.
John Hackworth.
Tournament
Have
edition.
you heard of that guy? Have you heard of that guy?
John Hackworth. Yeah, rings a bell.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
their
Morgan
coach.
Hackworth. I remember. I know Morgan Hackworth.
From
yes.
last night, right? Yeah.
Yes.
That crazy match. But you're looking for transfer market. It looks like they play a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2 depending on the match. They've played really well in the NXT league. They've 7 goals in league play and only and they scored 2 in Open Cup play against Indy 11, who they eliminated to come to play us on the 20th. It'll be an interesting match. It's kind of like the master versus the student, right? Like with Danny playing Hack, so it'll be interesting to see how they play. We know that they played a preseason match. It was very difficult to find anything statistically on what happened in that match, as it was a preseason game, and they don't keep any of those stats for us. So, it was a 2-0 loss, right, for Lou City in that match, I believe. So we'll see how this goes and see how everything lines up. I think that if we're gonna short week, right? So we're gonna have to rest some guys. Obviously, Toach is going to get a start, right? Because he's going to be suspended for at least one match for the Red. But it'd be interesting to see the lineup we put out there because I know that Cruz has definitely put an emphasis on this tournament being important this year and wanting to win matches. So it'll be interesting if we're going to come with our starting 11 and try to go out there and, punch St. Louis in the mouth and try to get that early goal and keep that lead. See how we do. I'm very interested to see how we do against this NXT team. That's now playing in the league and the team that beat Indy. So,
Matt, when you look at St. Louis NXT, a team that, as Glenn alluded to, they've won all 3 of their matches in their whatever league this is. I still don't really understand. But they have putting up a lot of shots, okay? Looking over some of their stats, what do we have to look out for with St. Louis come Wednesday night in this round 3 of Open Cup action?
So they've had 4 games in their history, like in total, right? So the unknown already is something that you have to worry about, right? But the biggest factor here that really sort of gets my nerves in a bit of a tizzy, and if you know me, I'm a nervous person anyway. They have everything to gain and nothing to lose here, right? And that always makes a team dangerous.
Good point.
But one thing, their back line is a bit unproven, it looks like. They've only faced 3 shots on frame in their first 3 games, so they're still very much unproven. And I think some sustained pressure should test them out pretty good. Hopefully we can get one in. I want to be the team that beats them for the first time, right? You want that in your record books. We just need to play our game, right? I do expect St. Louis to play well and even give us a run for our money in some instances, but I think we can take care of business here. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, St. Louis is a team that, this team is in a development league, right? So, we want to beat teams like this, and I feel like there might be some chippiness to Louisville City. After all, Cameron Lancaster did get hurt in that preseason matchup with St. Louis. Glenn, do you think something like the injury of Cameron Lancaster adds any fuel to this fire, or is this business as usual, or is there more things like Hackworth returning that's going to drive this team to victory in round 3?
I think that Hackworth returning, right? These guys all want to prove something. I'm sure that everybody out there wants to prove something to Hack, right? And prove that he maybe should have stuck around and he maybe had it really good here. So I think that they're definitely going to try and do their best. And, it's not a preseason game this time. This is for a cup. And a team that, like I said, clearly has put emphasis on this being a focus of what we want to do this season. So I think that it's going to – anything that's happened will definitely be bulletin board material, right, to get the team amped up for the match. So anything that's happened between them in the past will be on that bulletin board, and they'll be working on that all week, trying to build that fire and come out. And like I said, I think you got to come out with your starting lineup and attack them and go hard and then see if you can't get that goal in early, because I feel like that will change the tone of the game. Like I said, Indy didn't even score a goal against them, right? They scored early against Indy and then held on to lead and scored a second while Indy was trying to press to try and score a goal to even get level. So I feel like it's going to be important for us to get that early lead and hold on to it and just keep attacking like we normally do and see if we can't put them in an uncomfortable position.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Can I get my John on, if you will?
You sure can.
Yeah.
Here's a yellow,
guys think-
but go ahead.
Oh, do you guys think what kind of reaction do you think Hackworth is going to get when they announce him from the crowd? Like, what do you think? What do you think you're going to hear? You're going to hear boos? You're going to hear applause?
Glenn, I'll start
Depends
with
on
you.
how much drinking goes on before the match, right? I feel like there's a lot of people that are unhappy with the situation. Also, we don't really know a lot of what happened, right? Like there hasn't exactly been a lot of information as to. We just know he was terminated with cause, right? Like, but we don't know what that cause was. So I feel like there's a little bit of animosity there with a lot of the fans, right? And it sure feels like, to me at least, it feels like he was pursuing what he thought was a better opportunity, right? Like with him popping up in St. Louis and now being the coach of their 2 team, like it just, I don't know. That has a weird feeling to me. It felt like maybe he thought he was going to get something better. Maybe he thinks he's going to coach in the MLS again and thinks that the MLS is a better option than being in the USL, right?
Matt, anything on that? You asked the question, answer your own question.
No, I think to the more I think it'll be mostly cheers. I think it'll be mostly like respectful clapping. Even though he is the opponent. I do think to us soccer marks, us soccer
when
nerds,
do we never respectfully clap for anybody that comes back barely at all? Like
Really?
I was kind of shocked last night how warm the reception was for Yuki. I didn't expect that. But it's a different feel at the racing games, I think. But I feel like at city games, we're not super during the heat of battle. We're pretty intense about it. Now after the match, we're going to be fairly friendly, I'm sure. But during the heat of battle, it's going to be all intense. Like it's not going to be friendly and hugs. And that's how the rivalry was, right? Like the King's Cup was always like we were friends before the game and after the game, but during the game, we sat in our sections, we chanted against each other and sang songs at each other and
then we beat St. Louis, yeah.
Victory.
Well, hopefully
a lot of time, yes.
Hopefully we beat St. Louis again. I'm very excited for this one. And, one thing I know Danny Cruz kind of tweeted this out, thanking everybody for the supports. We had some travelers go out to San Diego, and he was very kind and thanking them for their support for traveling out west. But he also encouraged everybody to show up Wednesday, and you do need to show up Wednesday. These Open Cup games, especially for the higher seeds, well, especially for the MLS sides, have not had great turnout. We need to have the opposite effect at Lynn Family Stadium. So, bring the family, bring your bong, whatever it takes. Come out to Lynn Family Stadium Wednesday night on 420 to see Louisville put a shellacking on St. Louis SC Tournament Edition, whatever they're called. And it should be a very exciting matchup. And the return of John Hackworth to Lynn Family Stadium, coming out the wrong side of the tunnel. Well, I guess they share the same tunnel, but the wrong side of the locker room. So very...
That sounds inappropriate.
Yeah. Looking forward to that one. I'm going to go ahead and do this. All right. So...
Yeah. Do I get to sing now?
Oh, yes, actually.
I've never gotten to sing before. I'm so
debut.
excited.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Doughton. Take it away, Matt.
All right. I picked this one out special. My wife was listening to this morning. Some boys kiss me, some boys hug me. I think they're okay. If they don't give me proper credit, I just walk away. They can beg and they can plead, but they can't see the light. That's right. Because the boy with cold hard cash is always Mr. Right. Because we are living in a material world, and I am a material girl. You know that we are living in a material world, and I am a material girl.
Living in a material world.
Material. All right, I'm done.
All right. Yay.
Back to the show.
You're welcome, Simone, that I didn't red card that.
That was really good.
That was good, Matt. Kudos for knowing
what I'm doing.
Kudos for knowing all those lyrics. Kudos for knowing all those lyrics.
They were up on my screen.
I'm still
what are you talking about?
yellow.
Yeah, you're still on a yellow, pal.
I just came off a red. How am I still on a yellow?
You're lucky. You're only on a yellow, Tosh.
All right. So looking ahead, this is gonna be a busy week for Louisville City. After that Open Cup on the 20th, we are heading down to South Kakalaka to play the Charleston Battery, a team that is 4 points, not so great, But Glenn, teams like this sometimes can be a surprise, and sometimes can surprise great teams like Louisville City seems to be. How about Charleston? What do you see down there? Are we going to dominate, or do we need to kind of be cautious for these boys?
I think you always need to be cautious, right? This game could be a trap. You're coming off a short week going into Charleston. I mean, they are, what is it? They've only won one game, and I think it's been at home. So we're going to go to their place and play them. Their goal diff is -7, though, so they're definitely giving up quite a few goals right now. I looked through I looked at their numbers and I didn't see anything real positive to say. Like, I try really hard every week to try to find something positive. Like, they look like a team that's in a little bit of trouble to start the season. They're kind of struggling to find their way. Not putting a lot of goals in, but letting a lot of goals up. So it'll be interesting to see. Now they did, like I said, they did come up with a big win, right? On what was that, on Saturday, right? They beat somebody. Oh, who was their win against? No, I'm wrong. I'm a little bit out of my mind right now. I'm sorry.
They didn't beat anybody,
but they haven't beat anybody in a while. But it could be a trap, right? Because we're going to be short rest. We're probably going to have to have some rotation. Some players that normally don't see the pitch. So it'll be interesting to see how we compete and who we put out there. They don't have any. They're looking through their lineup. I didn't see any names that looked real familiar to me. They have quite a few players on one goal, but no one who's looks like their dominant scorer. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out and how they attack us and keep us from attacking them. Because I feel like we scored 5 goals Saturday night. I felt like that was a pretty good start for our offense to start pouring them in. Harris has looked good. He's really calm in front of the goal when he gets his chances. He's been taking them pretty well lately. And then Ownby, if Ownby plays in that game, they're pretty much toast, right? Like, that guy's amazing.
Yeah, speaking of rest and speaking of 5, the amount of goals we scored against the Loyal, 5 p.m. start time in Charleston, a little unique. Might be throwing City off with the travel schedule. Matt, how does the fatigue kind of set in here? The shuffling of the lineup, the 5 o'clock start, a lot of little random things that could possibly lead to a not so great outcome. What do you think?
Is there a reason why it's a 5 o'clock start? Is there like a rodeo
Thunder
that they're doing later?
We have Thunder.
All right. Well,
we have
at this
Thunder
point,
in Louisville.
Yeah, exactly.
I think at this point, right, I think you always have to kind of factor in that any team we play knows how good we are, and they know how great of a start we've gotten to and how we've been dominant throughout the history of our time in the league. So beating us means something, right? So you've always got that extra little bit of motivation that every team, they're always going to play to their best against us, right? So that's something we got to look out for. It could be a trap game. Statistically, I'm not seeing that. They've lost 4 straight. They concede 2 goals on average a game. They've only put 12 shots on frame all year. They rank dead last in passing accuracy, and that plays very well into our defensive strengths, as we'll have plenty of opportunity to sort of pounce on those missed connections in their half and turn those into chances. I'm really looking for us more. I'm looking for the win, obviously, but it'd be really great if we could get out of this game healthy and with a minimal amount of yellows, because Chucktown is flat out bad, and we should be able to dominate this team.
Yeah, I think that when you see these matchups where you have a team at the bottom of the table, and hey, it's still early in the season, okay? So we don't have a clear cut who's the best and who's the worst. I feel like that we know that Louisville City seems like a very quality team in our history so far. We don't know. This team might have some tricks up their sleeves. We'll see.
Any given Sunday, man.
Any given Sunday or Saturday.
I guess.
Or Saturday.
Absolutely. But that being said, I'm predicting a 7-0 win for Louisville City. We'll move
Holy
on.
mackerel.
What?
Wait, did we not their one win was against Tulsa, so they have beat someone at the top end of the table for their one win at home. So
6-0 win.
Victory.
6-0 win. All right. I shouldn't say things like that. Katie would be very upset for me saying something. Can't be overconfident, and that's true.
Luckily, Katie doesn't watch the show either.
And they gave up. Hey, wait, they gave up 4 goals to San Diego and 4 goals to Atlanta United. So I mean, they're definitely not playing a lot of defense out over there. So I think we'll be okay. But I don't want to get cocky either. That's not my scene. So
I'm not on the team, so I can get cocky as hell, baby.
Glenn, we'll wrap it up. If you can tell me how far Charleston is of a drive, and do not look it up. Guess, because I know I looked it up today. Come on, guess. If you're within an hour, I will not red card you.
Another red card already. 7 hours.
No, it's 9 hours and something. I'll take you off the red card, buddy. Just in case,
red, Glenn.
Just in case anybody wants that down to Charleston. Charleston is a beautiful city. It has a lot of history.
Charleston is a very pretty city.
It's a really nice place. So
they've got great beaches, man. Really underrated beaches.
It's really nice.
Bunch of beaches out there.
6-0 city. Moving right along to our final topic of the evening, TV party. So talking a little bit about television, and it's been a hot button topic for quite a while, right? Racing, especially. It's NWSL in general kind of has a bit of a identity crisis when it comes to where we can watch these games. We have watched games on Twitch. We've watched games on Paramount Plus. We've watched games on ESPN in the past. We've watched games on ABC, whatever. So, Glenn, racing not getting much love. A lot of teams in the NWSL. I saw some tweet about tuned in to Angel City FC and watched the Paramount Plus logo on the screen for 15 minutes while the game was going on this person's
sounds about right.
ESPN app or whatever. Glenn, when you look at these TV struggles, it seems the NWSL is happening. How do we get to the root of these and solve these problems?
So my first question would be so if you go to WDRB, who carries our Lou City matches, right, on BKI, is there no way that Soccer Holdings could find a contract to get the matches aired on maybe the Fox or the BKI for us? I will say that when you go to WDRB's website, they actually, in their sports tab, have local soccer as one of the drop downs. So when you drop down, you have, you have your U of L sports, UK sports, IU sports, and then Louisville Pro Soccer has its own header that you can click on and you can go, and it has some information about Louisville City and about further down it has some information about racing, which is nice to see. But it'd be nice to see some coverage. And I know that we already have an agreement, right, with Soccer Holdings with them. But doesn't Paramount Plus also have an agreement with CBS? Like when you log into your Paramount Plus, you can watch live CBS programming. Is there no way to pair
Viacom owns all of them? Yeah, all of that CBS.
So there's no way to pair with our local CBS, which I looked up, and WLKY. Yeah. So there's no way for a WLKY to pick up these games, or nothing we can do maybe like on Twitter by tagging them and asking them or requesting that they air the matches for us, because there has to be some kind of partnership between Paramount and in the local CBS that they can use to their advantage. And I feel like it's going to help the team to get that coverage out there in the community and get people into it, because I feel like the Lou City games getting some coverage over the airwaves helped out a little bit, and getting people to come to matches after they see what a good time it is and they see what the stadium looks like. I think it was kind of helpful to have some local coverage, and it would be nice to see, one of our local over-the-air TV channels pick it up for us and get some racing games and some NWSL content to the fans, and also just more coverage in general where we can get statistics and things like that. So,
Matt, we've talked a lot about the statistical part before, but it is a little challenging watching these NWSL games. Sometimes the actual quality of production can be a little lacking as well. What do you think it's going to take to get not only possibly a local affiliate to cover these games, but maybe more than that?
So I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit and just assume that I don't think WLKY maybe factors into the decision on what they air. I think it might be a national broadcast, but you see also with the NFL most notably, you can have local regional coverage. It's not just one national broadcast. Not the entire nation doesn't get one game, sans a Monday Night Football or a Sunday Night Football, right? Regionally, you get different games based on where you're at. So I don't know why, and I don't know if it's maybe a contractual thing with the NWSL and CBS Viacom. If that's not an option. I do know that ratings wise, the NWSL is catching up to MLS, and MLS has had a lot of problems getting eyes on their games. Right, even the marquee matchups, like El Tráfico, very entertaining games for the most part, but people aren't watching them. Right, and this is important because it factors into sort of the lifeblood of how these leagues make their money, which is TV streaming and TV rights deals, right? But I don't know if there's a local option. I don't know. Does WOKY cover soccer at all?
Well,
I mean, the local coverage of both of our clubs has been, in my estimation, it's been pretty abysmal.
Well, let me give you a little shining light in this situation.
Shine down on us.
Tyler Griever of WHAS 11. If you do not follow him on Twitter, if you're not aware of who Tyler is a sports broadcaster who is at nearly every racing game and every Lou City game. He is, field production, which he's doing it all, right? He's filming it. He's doing wrap-up stories at the end of the matches. He does a fantastic job. He keeps up with the team for real, like he's following the team, rooting them on, and he has some fantastic shots. He had Ekich, the goal from Saturday, an amazing shot of it on Twitter. He's on WHAS 11. I believe that is the ABC affiliate here in Louisville. But
and
he does a fantastic job. So
if you go to their sports page, the top story is a racing story. It's about Ekch's goal to help Louisville draw with Chicago.
And I guarantee you that is a Tyler. That's a Tyler. I'm talking. That's a Tyler Griever situation happening there. Matt, go ahead.
I was just gonna mention that I've used WHAS articles about racing in the past to do research, to look up stats and stuff like that. So they do a good job
covering. I got a card for not knowing how far away Charleston was from fucking Louisville, but he doesn't get a card for talking over you.
Look at this face, though. How do you card this face?
All right, that's how you do it, right there.
Oh,
you're muted, Matt. Or sorry, not Matt. Matt's muted. Matt's on red. Glenn. Did you watch any NWSL on Twitch as we wrap up this TV party? What did you think of that? Because that was a mess. It still is a mess.
I tried to watch it on Twitch and had all kinds of issues and eventually just gave up on it and would follow it on my FotMob app because I just struggled with Twitch and getting it to stream well. The Paramount Plus streams are decent. They're not great. They could be better. I just feel like some local coverage would be nice, some actual local coverage of the matches, and I feel like it should be a possibility. There's got to be someone who can carry these games locally. I know we had the big the Wave and LA played on the over-the-air network for ABC or CBS early on in the season here in the preseason. So I mean they have the ability. The over-the-air network. I'm sorry, I'm old. Okay?
I like that one. Go ahead.
Pick it up on your antenna, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Hey, don't
have an antenna. Who doesn't have an antenna?
Don't make me read you again. Yeah. Aluminum foil. Yeah. I mean, Twitch too. For me, Twitch is, and this is different for different age demographics, I believe. But for me, Twitch is somewhere where, I mean, I don't really normally watch Twitch, but it's normally somewhere where you go for a specialty content, mostly games, right? Video games. So it's an odd place, but the league is still developing, right? It's a small league, not that many teams. Hopefully in time, this will change. The popularity of women's soccer in America is huge. We're a dominant country, obviously, in the World Cup scene. So I think that's only going to get better with time. So we have to have a little patience, but at the same time, Glenn, you hit the nail on the head when you said a local affiliate, just the same way that Louisville City is covered locally. It would be nice for racing to get that kind of attention locally as well, from having the games broadcasted local. But at least we do have quite a few, and Tyler is not the only one, but there are quite a few anchors and broadcasters around town. Paul Miles, 8:40 a.m., always at the matches, always on Twitter. posting pictures and things like that. He's very into, so you see a lot of that. There's a lot of cross Lance McGarvey, now with the University of Louisville basketball, so people are following him from University of Louisville basketball, seeing how much he's into Louisville City. So it's only growing the soccer community, soccer brand, whether it be Lou City or racing. It is a big, a lot of potential there for growth and something we're looking forward to seeing in the future. Yes.
My main point for wanting to talk about this tonight was that I would like to see the games over the air, like to be more accessible, so you don't have to have a subscription to watch matches. I think that it would help the game, and I really want to see the game grow and get bigger and better. And I think you can get larger crowds if you get people interested in seeing what the game is like on the television. If you can get it on that over the air network or whatever, where you don't have to pay to watch it, you get a new set of eyeballs on the game, and maybe you can get people who are interested in sports in general to check out a match or two and then come to see it in person and try to grow your fan base, right?
Matt,
We've had so much talk on Twitter, right? Like so much talk about like how do we fill the stadium out, right? How do we sell out the stadium? I'm not going to name a name, but we had a big discussion. How about local media, right? Like, is that not a huge factor in getting people into the games, right? It's a hell of a lot of a bigger factor than people playing drums, right? That's not keeping people out of the stadium. I think maybe big media has a lot to do with this, and maybe it's time for them to, step up.
Yeah, they need to be, covering all sports, but give soccer some love. Be fair and balanced, right? Big media, right? Sorry about that. But yes, I think ultimately the future is bright for the sport in general, and it's still growing, and it's still in its infancy. So we've got a long way to go, but it's a bright future, and hopefully the local media does pick up on racing as they have for Louisville City in some aspects. But I feel like racing, not quite there yet locally, but it'll grow. I do believe. So get better. So, and we're going to try to get better next week for episode 9. Episode 8 is in the books. Gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I can't wait to go back and review the intro, as I have no idea what was said. So that's going to be really exciting.
It was really bad.
You didn't miss much, my man. You didn't miss much at all.
If you would have if I would have passed it to you, Glenn, you asked me a question. I think I said something like, "All right," and on to Matt. So there's no telling what.
That's how you normally talk to Glenn.
No, I wouldn't say that. Gentlemen, I thank you for your time tonight. I know it was a late broadcast. We're going to get this sucker live, or at least out to the masses tomorrow evening at 7 p.m., which is when you'll be watching this, hopefully. And we're glad that you joined us for 24-hour Purple People. Don't forget to follow us on all the socials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And, hey, hit that like button for us. It helps us get caught up in the algorithms and all that good stuff on YouTube. You can also check out the audio form of 24-hour Purple People wherever your favorite podcasts are uploaded. And please give us a listen when you're riding down the street, smoking Indo, heading to the Open Cup round 3.
Juice.
We'll cut that out. This is not the live version. Gentlemen, thank you for Glenn Grum, Matt Dalton. We'll keep it purple, as you will as well, fam. And we'll see you next time. We're 24-hour Purple People. I'm John Harper. Goodbye. Keep waving until I hit this button. We're not live. It doesn't really matter, does it? Bye-bye.